Life is too short, darling, to waste it blaming the world for your own problems and misfortunes. When you blame others for your own problems, what you're doing is you're giving up control of your life, because you're saying that there's nothing you can do. It is always someone else's fault and you don't have to do anything because somebody else has to fix it. It's somebody else's fault, right? Right. Is it really? Just think about it. So often we blame the government, we blame our parents, we blame our friends, our partners. We blame everything and everyone for our own issues because that's easy. Because then we don't have to do anything. We just sit and wait for karma to do the things right. But darling, you're wasting your time like that. We cannot always wait for the karma to solve things for ourselves when we can actually have the power to change them. You have a strong power within you. Use it. You don't have to keep playing the victim role, darling. I know what it feels like. I know that it can be comforting. I know that it might be what you know. I know that it may be familiar for you. Because I used to complain a lot. I used to blame others for almost everything that was going wrong in my life. I was blaming my parents for not providing enough for me. I was blaming my friends for treating me in a specific way. I was blaming my ex-partners for not being there for me, for not behaving in a certain way. Of course, it could be that somebody did you wrong, that it was their fault, that they treated you in a bad way that they shouldn't have. But there is a difference between fault and responsibility. It could be someone else's fault, that they betrayed you, that they cheated on you, that they hurt you, but still, it is still your responsibility to fix things for yourself. You cannot wait on others to save you. You cannot wait on others to solve things. And oftentimes, we stay in toxic relationships. We stay in unhealthy situations for way too long, and we're allowing people to treat us in a bad way. Then it could be their fault that they treat us badly, but it's also our fault for staying too long, for not doing anything, for not trying to escape, for not trying to find a way out. You don't have to keep working a job which is killing your soul. You don't have to keep staying in a toxic relationship that hurts you mentally and physically. You don't have to keep hanging around people who disrespect you all the time. It is your responsibility. Your life is in your control. Just because you have done something in the past, darling, just because you're used to something, because you're used to toxic behavior, because you're used to tolerate negative attitudes from people, it does not mean that you need to keep tolerating these things. In the future, you can change. You can take back your power and stop blaming. Because when you blame others, darling, you are giving your power away. You give so much energy and so much time. You keep yourself busy blaming others, explaining yourself, complaining about things instead of working on yourself, instead of working on improving your life for you. And that is definitely time wasted. I've wasted so many years blaming and complaining people for anything that was going wrong in my life. And that didn't help me much. That didn't get me where I wanted to be, because I was really wasting my time pointing fingers at others because it was easy. I didn't have to do anything. If it is somebody else's fault, there's nothing you can do, right? So why would you try? You wouldn't even try. And I know what it feels like. I've been there. We can blame anybody. We can blame the government. We can blame our parents, our friends, our partners. We can blame everything and everyone for where we are in life right now, for not being happy. But are you really that kind of person that is willing to give up on their life because they're afraid to do something different, because they're afraid to take the control of their own life? Just because your life has been in a certain way so far, it does not mean that it needs to keep going this way. You can change your mind anytime. You can make different choices anytime. You can make different decisions any day. You can start changing today, darling. You can start changing tomorrow. You just need to set the right intentions. We don't have to keep living with victim mentality just because everybody around us is doing it. You know, when I was younger, I was surrounded by people who constantly complain and blame the world for their own issues. But the thing, darling, is that something can be wrong even if everybody is doing it. And something can be right even if no one else is doing it. Just think about it. Just because you grew up with certain people, just because certain behavior is known to you, just because you have accepted certain traits or certain habits as part of your identity, it does not mean that they have to keep defining you. Because you define yourself. You can change your habits, but you can change your behavior. You can change the way you act any given time. You just need to decide. You know, I've wasted so many years of my life blaming the world for not being lucky enough, for not being where I wanted to be in life, because that was easy, because that was what I knew. And I thought that this was part of my identity, but it wasn't. It was just something that I knew. The thing is that I kept practicing this bad habit of blaming and complaining, but it was just a habit that I could change. And the moment I realized that, I started turning the finger towards me. You know, you don't have to keep giving your power away, blaming other people, because this way you are wasting your time and energy doing that, darling, because if you're busy blaming others, you will never be busy working on yourself. You will never be busy improving your life. Take your power back. Turn that finger towards you and ask yourself, what is that thing that I can do to change things for myself? What is that thing that I can do to improve my situation? You know, things won't change until you change. If you keep going back to toxic relationships and unhealthy friendships, if you keep working a job which is killing your soul, whose fault is that? People can keep doing you wrong. People can treat you badly, and they shouldn't. It could be their fault, yes, but whose fault is for you tolerating that, for you staying there? It's yours. It's yours, darling. And it's time to take responsibility to fix things for yourself. You don't have to keep staying in a relationship where you're being emotionally or physically abused. You don't have to keep working a job which is killing your soul. You don't have to keep maintaining toxic friendships with people who don't value you enough, with people who keep disrespecting you. Maybe it's time for you to draw some new boundaries. Have you ever thought about it? It is your responsibility to change things for yourself. Blaming won't save you. Blaming won't help you. Blaming would just keep you stuck, and in most cases it would keep you stuck in the past, because you keep blaming people for things that already happened, for things that are in the past, for things that you cannot change, for things that are outside of your control. You also keep blaming the government. Can you influence the decisions that the government makes? In most cases you can't. So what does blaming the government give you? Nothing. Nothing. It just takes away your power. You're more powerful than you think. And you better start acting like it. Take your power back. Take control of your life. And instead of blaming, start acting. Start taking these steps that can help you to improve yourself, that can help you to improve your life, that can help you to live better. Choosing to play the victim, darling, it is no longer an option. Because you're running out of time. Life is too short. Make the most of it. Stop wasting it blaming others for not being happy, for not doing the things that you want to do, for stopping yourself to get where you want to be. Do you know that if you keep entertaining the wrong people, the wrong relationships, the wrong situationships, you won't have the time and you won't have the space for the new to come in. You won't even recognize it. You won't recognize the right people because you would be too busy entertaining the wrong ones. You keep blaming them, but at the same time, you keep staying there. You keep going back to the things that have already broken you. If somebody has disrespected you in the past, if somebody has hurt you and embarrassed you, why do you keep going back to them? If someone has already cheated on you, if somebody has already betrayed you, why do you keep going back to them? If someone is sleeping with you, darling, and have already cheated on you in the past, most likely he's sleeping with other people too. Don't fool yourself. Why do you keep allowing it? You may blame them when they cheat on you the next time, but the problem is that you went back. You went back to the person that broke you. Darling, if you keep going back to the wrong relationships, to the wrong friendships, to the wrong situationships, you are intentionally going back to where you started long time ago. You're going back to the time when you were broken, lost, and confused. Is that what you want? Is that how you want to continue living your life? Rejecting your power and giving it away? Blaming others? What does this bring to you? You know, blaming others only gives us resentment, anger, and frustrations. It only gives us negative emotions. And we need to break that negative cycle. We need to break that bad habit of blaming and start looking inwards. Start turning that finger towards us. Ask yourself, what is it that I can do right now to improve my life? What is it that I can do right now to improve my situation, to improve my relationship? If the answer is to leave certain things behind, then do that. Leave them behind. You don't have to keep yourself stuck in wrong places, in places where you don't belong. You know, darling, certain things will keep happening if you keep allowing them to keep happening. And if you keep blaming people for the way they treat you, for how much they disrespect you, for how much they hurt you, but at the same time, you keep going back to them, that is your fault. It is in your hands. Only you can change that. It is your responsibility, darling, and it's time for you to take responsibility. Be honest with yourself. I know you can. I know there is much more that you can do for your life rather than blaming. Life is too short, darling. Make the most of it. Stop blaming and take your power back and start building the life that you want to live. Start doing the things that you like. Start doing what you want to do. Change if you have to. But blaming won't get you anywhere. Blaming will just keep you stuck to where you are right now. And if you don't like it, you better do something about it. Be accountable. Stop playing the victim role, darling. As any other role, you can change it. You can decide to be the main character in your life and start navigating your life in the direction you want to go. Because you have this power. You have control over your own life. Stop acting like you don't. Because I've done it and I know what it feels like. And I had to take control over my life. And I had to start acting like the person that I am. Like the person who is capable. Like the person who can. Like the person who is seeking solutions and is not playing a victim anymore. You are stronger than you think, but you need to allow yourself to be that strong version of you and get rid of that past version of you, that blaming version of you. You don't have to keep living that blame culture. Blaming culture is a scam. It is there so that you stay a victim and not a victor. You choose the role you play in your life, darling. Choose it wiser. Thank you for watching and spending some time with me today. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video and that you would stop blaming the world and you would finally start taking responsibility for changing your life for the better. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.